This is the Giraffes Don't Eat Steak podcast, a show that brings you marketing stories, tips, hints, and much more. A treat for those who want to succeed in business or marketers who just want to learn. Hello, Alex.
Hello, how are you doing?
I am good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I've got the sun on me today, which
Ah, we've
I think is normal in Colombia, but actually we've been going through the phenomenon La Niña. So it's been very, very wet. Been a lot of flooding across Colombia, but it seems like the sun is shining and the swimming pool area in where I live, they've just been doing maintenance during that time. So it's been closed for the last month or something, and it's just opening up in time for the sun. So
okay. We also have sun today, but it's 2 degrees outside. So not sure that's helpful.
that's unless you want to go and do the cold water swimming or something.
Yeah, not no, no. I'll leave that to adrenaline junkies like yourself. That's definitely not for me.
So I have a question. I'm not sure if you were a user on there before or not, but were you a user of Twitter or X?
Yes.
So I was wondering if, because in a few of the people I've been working with, they've been saying, everyone's flocking, everyone's flocking to Blue Sky. Uh,
Mm.
we should move, we should move, we should move. So I was wondering if you have moved yourself or anybody you've been working with has been moving across to Blue Sky.
I have an account. I've gone and claimed my name. I wouldn't say I've moved, but I wasn't that active personally, or even for MDA, we weren't that active on
Yeah,
Twitter or X anyway. It's not where our target clients hang out. And I don't know of any of my clients that have moved. I think a lot of people are tasting the waters, so dipping their
yeah,
toe in both for a while
yeah.
to see what's going to happen. Why? Are you seeing people move?
I'm seeing people move just
And
in,
move as in shut down and go across.
yeah, shut down
Oh,
across, yeah. Um, so I've heard, so it depends who you ask and what circles you ask, if people are moving across or not. Um, and so if one circle, if I'm asking about people moving, it seems like everyone's leaving X and everyone's going to Blue Sky. Um, but if you look at the statistics, it's still very, very uh, minuscule in comparison to Twitter. I mean, X is getting a lot of bad rep at the moment, and it sounds like everyone's leaving. But they still got 300, around 350 between the stats aren't actually publicly available. The
yeah.
estimations between 350 and 400 million.
And I
In
think Blue Sky just did 1 million, right?
No, Blue Sky's at 20 million now.
Oh, okay.
20 million. Um, but that is quite a big difference between 350 million. And then but there are some big people moving over. I think last week or no, maybe a couple of weeks ago, The Guardian said that they're going to be moving from Twitter to um,
Blue Sky.
Blue Sky. I mean, X to Blue Sky. Sorry, that's why I was getting confused. It's just so many names now. And they have a user base, I think, of around 40 million, I think, 40 million
Mm.
they had on Twitter. So those kind of moves will make a big effect on it. But I think it's really people are moving not because of necessarily um, functionalities, but I think more of a ethics reasoning.
It is more an emotional decision making, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So actually there's actually quite some not contrary statistics, but there's a fun statistic on election day. So there was a huge amount of people that left on election day to Blue Sky, but at the same time, let me just check this stat. But at the same time on election day, um, let me just give me 1 second where it is. Um, Twitter, sorry, X. I can't get that out of my head. I don't know why. But on on election day, X saw a record-breaking 942 million posts worldwide and a 15.5% increase in new user signups on the election day and the day after. So it doesn't it seems like the type of people, it seems like there's an audience for X and there might be an audience for Bluesky. It doesn't necessarily mean that there's like a pool of people and it's just the pool of people are sort of switching around, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Rather than seeing huge drop-offs in one and huge gains in the other.
Yeah. It's an interesting one because I think all the big social media channels had that at some stage, right? Everyone was anti-Facebook at some stage. Oh, we're all going to leave Facebook. I was at a meeting the other day where someone went, I've cancelled all my social media. I said, oh, okay, that's pretty big, all your social media. He's like, yeah, I closed my Facebook account. Oh, are you still on LinkedIn? Yes. Are you still on WhatsApp? Yes. Okay, so you didn't close all your social media. You closed one channel, right? And I think this Bluesky thing is similar. There's emotive reactions, and we'll see. Do you remember, was it in lockdown when there was the new Clubhouse, right? And everyone was like, well, not everyone. There was a lot of noise about, oh, let's rush to Clubhouse.
Yeah.
Where is Clubhouse now? When last have you heard anything at all about Clubhouse?
Yeah. A lot of them kind of run at a lower level, but at not really making much of an impact. The only thing I can really see, the only real difference I think on Bluesky is in terms of functionality. There's two things: it's functionality and the plans for revenue generation from Bluesky.
Hmm.
So the functionality is you can have your own domain.
Yeah.
So if anyone's not entirely sure what that means, it's if you own, so for example, we have the marketing detective agency, we could submit our domain because we own that, and we could have, say, Erica or Alex at marketing detective agency, something like that. And it would just take you to our profile on the platform, which is quite a cool functionality. And then in terms of advertising, they have said, but I'm pretty sure I've heard this line numerous times, that they will not have advertising as a form of revenue generation. Instead, they will have paid features, and one of those paid features, for example, may be the purchasing of the domain, hosting in different areas. So probably stuff a little bit more around personalizing your account and privacy as well. But other than that, the features are fairly similar. I don't know what the moderation will be because I guess Elon Musk is the one who said that he wanted to remove all moderation from X so that
Yeah.
you can post whatever you like. But I guess Bluesky will have some form of moderation or
Yeah.
does. Not entirely sure. Um,
I mean, it's interesting. The main thing for me, if any of my clients or anyone asks me the question, is I'd say, are your target audience there?
right.
But
I think so.
if your target audience is there, or you're trying to plan for the future and you suspect they're going to move there, because that's also good if you're proactive, then definitely do it, right? Again, if you have strong political views, you need to follow your heart and do what feels right. I'm not sure. I would separate business decision from political view.
I mean, I guess it depends on how strong the ethical side of your business is. If you're an extremely ethical company and you only believe in certain rights, then your audience are probably the same as well, I imagine.
Exactly.
So it it's kind of one of the same in that scenario. but I completely agree with that. And I've worked with many people who are like, yeah, well, we need to be on all of them, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, X, Bluesky, LinkedIn. And that is a nightmare if you've only got a small team. If you've got a one, two people or something like that, it's very hard to manage, especially because the amount of content repurposing you have to do and management it can be really time consuming. A lot of the time, the majority of your audience are in one, and I think it's good to start there and kind of milk that, if that makes sense. Really, really optimize that as much as you possibly can in terms of creating the best content for it, understanding the algorithm of the platform and making sure that your content is working as hard as possible. I mean, I would do that anyway before I even move to another one. Get one absolutely humming, and then think about moving across to another.
And that's kind of you and I are aligned with that. We are a one at a time thought process, right? That's our thought process. But we have worked with clients where that's not what they want. They want get it all up, right? Which is a whole different level of work, thought process. And I mean, it's doable, but you need to understand the amount of work, right? Like it's not a copy paste. And I think this is
Yeah,
where people go wrong. They just repost the same thing on Facebook, Instagram, X, Blue. No, that's not right. You have to tailor the content to the audience, to the platform. You need to look at your stats differently. You know, is video performing better? Is text performing better? And as we've seen, even just LinkedIn, the answer changes on a weekly, monthly, quarterly basis. You know, what worked for you 6 months ago, suddenly
yeah,
you're like, oh, what's going on now? It's not working now. You know,
yeah,
either they've changed the algorithm or the audience is just different.
yeah. Yeah, and sometimes they add a new feature and then everyone overuses the feature and then they start to penalize you for using that feature, like scheduling, for example. I think in the beginning that was just thought as a really useful tool, but then they started thinking, well, maybe that this means that people aren't organically posting, as
Mm.
in uh, posting in the moment with a thought that they have. And we don't want to promote that. We don't want to promote the scheduling because that's just too leaning too much to sort of marketing rather than organic individual person writing what they think.
And it means people are offline more, right? With
Yeah.
scheduling. They're
Yeah.
not they with posting you have to be online. With scheduling you don't have to be online. Like literally you can put a whole week's worth of posts up and then never go back again. So it does, even though it's ease, it does create different behavior.
Yeah.
And as a user, you need to understand those thought processes and understand what it's doing to your posts, your views, and adapt. And doing that across 5, 6, 7 channels is much harder.
Mhm.
So doable, but that's then you're doing it all day long.
No, no,
And is
exactly.
that what you want, right? If that's what you want, great. If you're hiring a person whose job is that,
Then that's fine.
would not
But
be a
just be
job I
aware.
would not be a
Yeah.
job I would choose, but
It's just about being aware of what you're trying to do,
mm,
what you're trying to achieve.
yeah. And the thing with Bluesky, like with all these new ones that pop up, die, it could be the next LinkedIn, the next Facebook, the next X that takes off.
Mhm.
Or it could be the next Clubhouse that dwindles into quietness, or it could be the next what's one that's died completely. And so none of us have a crystal ball, right?
But I mean,
That's the joy of marketing is we can't tell what's going to happen.
yeah. I mean,
I
the
mean,
thing is,
maybe Elon will buy it.
maybe.
He'll be irritated by the competition and just buy it.
Yeah,
He bought Twitter.
did for overvalued price. But I mean, the difficulty is that they're essentially the same thing. I mean, they look exactly the same as well. So really, the only difference is ethics. I can't really see any other difference. So and then how long does that last for? You
Yeah.
know,
You
is
don't
it
know
just
what's
that
going to happen.
time? pissed off right now because of Elon Musk supporting Trump. But what happens in a few years when no one cares about that relationship anymore because Trump's not in power anymore?
I mean, and now we're getting into politics, which is not what this podcast is about at all. But I heard the other day that because of their egos, they're probably going to have a fallout in a month anyway.
Yeah, that could be true. That could be
So,
true.
they're best friends now, but who
Yeah.
knows how long that's going to last.
His Department of Efficiency, whatever it's called, the Government Department of Efficiency that Elon Musk is going to be doing. Maybe he'll get to the point where he realizes that Donald Trump's not being efficient.
Or,
Maybe.
or Donald doesn't want to be managed that closely, right? I don't know. We don't know. I don't know.
But anyway, those things. My point is, anyway, is those things that can be what's the saying? Like a moment in time,
Yeah.
not a long term trend.
Or could be long term. So
Maybe I don't know, but
do what feels the best for you, whether it's if you're low risk, maybe you stay on both, maybe,
yeah.
do what's comfortable, but that it's not something you can't get out of. And again, you can get out. You can leave X, go to Bluesky, and go back again, right? Like there's nothing
Maybe
cast in stone.
no, exactly. I agree with that. And maybe there's some really good opportunities at the moment to capitalize on the mindset that
Newness.
yeah, the mindset that some people have going to Blue Sky. And if that fits with your product, service, or message or whatever it is, then absolutely jump on it right now.
Mm,
I agree with that. But yeah, as we said, it's all about the audience. Depends on what they're doing, what they're thinking, and how you can
absolutely.
provide value to them right now.
Absolutely.
So what do you think? So we've got so when someone sends a message on Blue Sky, what do you think the name is? So in Twitter's you send a tweet.
Oh, I don't know. What is the name?
So skeet. So it's a combination between sky and tweet. It's a skeet. So they're skeet.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. That's the name. Apparently, the Blue Sky officials are saying that people shouldn't use that word, but that's the word that's being used.
Oh, dear. I must admit, my first thought about the word was the image of my little dog scooching on the carpet.
Cleaning his bum.
That's, that's the first image that came to my mind. That's terrible.
You've now soiled everybody's minds.
Sorry.
Unfully intended.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. But so last night I was at this networking group and they spoke about, the saying life is like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Well, yes, it's a song as well. But what does it mean to you when you say life is like a roller coaster? What is it? What's like the automatic meaning of it to you?
Me personally,
Yeah.
that there's ups and downs and throughout your life, and sometimes you go down, sometimes you go up.
And that was what came to my mind when he said it as well. But the kind of underlying is that down is bad, right? Because life goes up and then it goes down, but no, it's going to go up again. So down is bad. But actually, if you think about a roller coaster, and I think you're a better roller coaster fan than me. But my daughter Kim is a massive roller coaster fan. And the downs are the best bit,
That's true.
right? The down is the best bit of
Yeah,
the
true.
roller coaster.
Yeah.
The only part of the roller coaster that's bad is when it stops,
Yeah.
right? So actually, that life like a roller coaster, if you just think about really a roller coaster, there's no bad, right? It's all different and it's got emotions and you're going through a whole lot of stuff, but you're still moving, right? And so I
I think
thought,
that's a
is
really
that
beautiful way of
great?
looking at it. Yeah, because the usually from the low times comes something. good. So without the low times, you don't have the good times. And the reason why the low times can be exciting is because it's it's the moment of creativity, the moment of excitement, the moment of
Innovation.
new innovation.
My daughter loves the downs on a roller coaster because she loves riding a roller coaster with me. And she says that's when she looks at my face and has a good laugh, because that's usually when I'm most terrified and most freaked out. So hers, the down part is when she can have a good laugh at me. That's like her favorite bit, right? So it's about finding the joy. And I just thought that's a bit like this blue sky thing, right? Whatever you choose to do in whatever social media, we're talking blue sky, but anything, right?
Mhm.
Don't look at it as good and bad. It's just say, well, we're trying something new and it's going to be a different experience. And we're either going to like it or we're going to stop the roller coaster and get off and try something else, right? It's all good. And so, yeah, I really, when something hits me like that, I think about it for a long time. And so this life is a roller coaster really like was playing in my head all night, because I've been one of those that have been the down is bad, right?
Mhm.
That's been my head. And actually, no, if it is a roller coaster, then there's no bad.
No, it's all good.
It's all different. It's just different feelings. The feeling
Yeah.
that you're having when you're going up and the feeling that you're having when you're going down are completely different. That's what it is.
But the
Cool, huh?
net act is good, hopefully. Depends how
Right.
you.
So last advice for anyone thinking of hopping onto Blue Sky.
Don't skeet on the floor.
Don't be a Millie.
Really. Um, well, I mean, to be honest, do it. If it's right for you, right for your audience, if your audience are there, that's good. There's absolutely no harm in doing it. But just be cautious about jumping on all of the brand new things without thinking about why.
Mm. And test it. It's free to test. Like I said, I jumped on so we can save our name, so no one else can use it, right? So I've saved our name and I'm watching. I'm having a look. I'm seeing what's happening, seeing who else is on there. And if it's appropriate, we'll start posting. But it's not costing me anything other than some time. So why
Yeah,
not? Why not have a look?
agree with that. It's a good,
Brilliant.
nice one. Cool. All right. Well, I'm gonna go skeet now and see you later.
Awesome. And remember, life is a roller coaster. Have a good one.
Bye bye.
Bye.
That wraps up this episode of Giraffes Don't Eat Steak. Thanks for joining us. I hope you found value in our discussion and got some new ideas to apply to your own business. Tune in next week for another round of marketing insights and inspiration. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. We appreciate you listening. Catch you next time on Giraffes Don't Eat Steak.